Nathan MacKinnon is one of my favorite NHL players, not just because he's a good old Nova Scotia boy who played for the Halifax Mooseheads, but because he's an absolute monster. He's such a rare blend of pure physicality, speed, and skill, and we saw that in tonight's game against Washington. He wasn't, however, laying a hit, he was taking one. In the first, Nate's driving the net, he gets smacked hard when Orlov steps into him. What's incredible, though, is he still manages to dish it to MacKinnon, who scored, making the game 1-0. And this is pretty incredible. He takes a hard textbook hip check, and not only does he basically keep his position, but with a second effort, he gets a stick on the puck and completes the pass. And that was MacKinnon's 700th point, and it could not have been more appropriate. Also, for Orlov, what a beautiful hit. Like I said, pretty much textbook and kind of risky to step up on a player with MacKinnon's speed and skill, but he made it work. Overall, though, this was a very entertaining game. I've got to say, though, not a fan, I've said this before, of the Colorado broadcasters. They're huge homers. They said straight up that they don't usually show highlights when other teams' goalies are playing well, but it was Kemper, so they made an exception. And I couldn't believe it. Near the end of the first intermission, one of the commentators said that Ovi was completely locked down this game and he wasn't going to score. Let's see how that played out. 3 minutes into the second, the Avs would make it 2-0 off a Cogliano deflection, but just 2 minutes later, Washington would get one back after a puck snuck through a screened Georgiev. I've got to admit, I definitely did not think Georgiev was good enough to be the 1A goalie for a Stanley Cup contending team. I watched him play backup for the Rangers last year, generally wasn't super impressed, and that's despite, according to advanced stats, the Rangers actually clamped it down on defense a bit more when Igor wasn't playing. That being said, they were a team that gave up a lot of high danger opportunities, and so far he's been proving me wrong this year. Near the end of the game, he would make a really cool diving head save, and he was good today. Alex Newhook would restore the 2-goal lead on a far side rip on former Avs goalie Darcy Kemper, but halfway through the third, Ovi would score from his office on what I can only describe as a big ol' missile. This was goal 811-31 for this season. Ovi just beat the goalie. You can game plan around Ovi, but when the execution is this good, there's not a whole lot you can do to really stop him. The big question for Ovi this season, does he hit 50? That was goal 31 in 49 games. That puts him on a pace for 52. I don't think he's going to get it. However, I think his stats are being bolstered by a few empty netters and I think a hat trick. But would I be shocked if he does? Absolutely not. The Caps would get some good chances, but ultimately would fail to come back, and the Avalanche would win this one 3-2. The Avalanche are getting hot and they're getting healthy. That's actually 7 wins in a row, where Washington is headed in the wrong direction, and I'm actually going to predict now that they'll miss the playoffs this year. One final note is that Jared Bednar, with tonight's win, becomes the winningest coach in Colorado Avalanche / Quebec Nordique history with 266 wins, so congratulations for him. As a note, it took him 500 games to reach that record. He was the coach of Colorado in that 16-17 season where they were just awful. 22 wins. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, be safe, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.